The British Columbia Institute of Technology acknowledges that our campuses are located on the unceded traditional territories of the Coast Salish nations of Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh.
Good afternoon, I'm Emma Bolsner here with your 3:30 news and sports headlines. Starting off with local news, Vancouver City Council will be deciding on the 2026 capital budget tonight. Council members will vote on the proposed $2.39 billion operating budget, which has faced major pushback. Mayor Ken Sims' zero means zero budget requires around $120 million in savings. Mayor Sim also hopes to freeze property increases for 2026. And Vancouver City Council is also planning on updating certain bylaws in preparation for the FIFA World Cup next year. Reporter Aiden Singh has more on the decision happening tomorrow.
Vancouver City Council will meet tomorrow to discuss a number of changes in the FIFA World Cup bylaws report, recommended by city managers. Rules about temporary signage, graffiti removal, noise complaints, and street vendors may be tweaked or altered to create a better environment for tourists and spectators alike. Similar reports were accepted by the Council for other major events in the past, such as the 2010 Winter Olympics and Expo 86. The amendments also have an expiration date, only set to last from May to July 2026. Aiden Singh, BCIT News.
And today marks 1 month until Christmas. North Vancouver's shipyards are preparing for its second Christmas market on November 28th. Reporter Quinlan Curry has more.
Many Christmas festivals around Metro Vancouver start with a ticket price, and families can feel the cost before they even step inside. The Shipyard's Christmas market in North Vancouver is trying to change that by keeping admission free and focusing on a more relaxed, community-driven experience. Co-founder and CEO John Van Rij says accessibility is at the heart of the market.
All but everybody mentions ours is free. We're trying to be inclusive, and what we're doing is make it accessible for everybody.
The waterfront event features food, lights, skating, and dozens of local vendors, offering a holiday night out that doesn't require paying at the gate. Quinlan Curry, BCIT News.
And Canadian shipping company Purolator expects to receive around 52 million packages across Canada through to December 24th. That's about 1.3 million packages each day and is up significantly from 2024, with Purolator only handling 43 million packages last year. And BC is launching an independent review in its public post-secondary enrollment drops. Post-secondary Education Minister Jessie Sunner says part of the issue is BC colleges and universities are suffering from the federal's decision to lower international student enrollment.
Where we are right now with our economic situation across not just BC but across the country, we're not in a position to provide any kind of additional funding to the sector, and I think that's why it's even more important that what we do have, the supports that we have provided, we are making sure that they are being utilized in the best way possible.
The review will be conducted by former BC Deputy Minister and Emily Carr University Board Chair Don Avison, with recommendations expected by March 2026. And reporter Avia Boulay has more on this and its impact on an SFU student.
Post-secondary students are getting ready to sign up for spring courses, but some say the process is becoming increasingly difficult. At Simon Fraser University, registration delays and limited course availability are creating academic setbacks and adding financial pressure. Michaela Ismail, a declared psychology major, says she's struggling to get into the classes she needs.
It's really frustrating because I'm here and I'm paying money and I'm trying to get my schooling finished with, and school's not cheap at all. So it's even if I wanted to take one course, there's a set price that I have to pay. So even if the course isn't worth that, I'm still paying this certain amount of money.
Students say they're hoping SFU will address these issues before the next registration window opens so they can stay on track without paying the price for the delays. Avia Boulay, BCIT News.
Moving to Alberta, Elections Canada has now approved the recall petitions against 5 more members in Premier Danielle Smith's caucus. The latest petitions include Cabinet Ministers Cyril Turton and Nathan Neudorf. There are now a total of 14 members facing recall, enough to tip the balance of power in the legislature. And BC Premier David Eby is disappointed that Saskatchewan's potash company Nutrien has decided to ship its products through a port in Washington state instead of one in BC.
And despite that, never once did the Premier of Saskatchewan raise with me that Nutrien was considering Washington State, that there was an issue that we had to work together on. Instead, he and the leader of the Conservative Party were having secret meetings with the Premier of Alberta about a non-existent pipeline project that undermines support for major BC projects that will employ thousands of people and bring billions of dollars into this country.
And south of the border, the White House has announced it will be ending its temporary protected status for people from Myanmar living in the U.S. ABC News' Amando Garcia has more.
This is coming during a time when Myanmar is suffering several humanitarian challenges. The UN says that as of March of this year, around 6,400 individuals have been killed by members of the military. Thousands more have been arrested, and 1.5 million people have fled the country, searching for relief in other countries.
This decision affects around 4,000 people living in America. And Democratic lawmakers who appeared in a social media video urging U.S. troops to defy, quote, illegal orders, say the FBI has contacted them for scheduled interviews. This comes after the Pentagon announced it is investigating Democratic Senator Mark Kelly of Arizona over potential breaches of military law. The Pentagon statement said it is federal law that retired service members are recalled to active duty. And in Kyiv, Russia launched a wave of attacks overnight, killing at least 7 people. ABC News chief foreign correspondent Ian Pannell has the latest.
Overnight, an intense barrage of Russian missiles and drones raining down on the Ukrainian capital for more than 6 hours as negotiations intensify between the US, Russia and Ukraine. Officials are saying Russia targeted power stations. 2 residential buildings also hit.
This attack comes after U.S. and Ukraine representatives met in Geneva on Sunday discussing a peace plan. President Donald Trump says he is sending Representative Steve Witkoff to meet with Russian President Putin and Army Secretary Dan Driscoll. Trump also suggested meeting with Putin and Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky. European leaders warn the road to peace will be a long one. And Israel says it has received human remains from Palestinian militants, but it is not clear whether they are one of the 3 hostages still remaining in the Gaza Strip. Prime Minister Netanyahu says the remains will be identified through forensic testing. This is the latest since the ceasefire on October 10th. In Nigeria, all 24 schoolgirls abducted by assailants last week from a school have been rescued. A total of 25 girls students were abducted, with one of them escaping the same day. No details of the rescue have been released, but it is just one of the many recent mass abductions, including one on a Catholic school on Friday, where more than 300 students and staff were abducted. Only 50 of those students have escaped from that abduction. The Pope has called for an immediate release of those still held. In Paris, 4 more arrests have been made in connection to the Louvre jewel heist. 2 men and 2 women have now been taken into custody. The stolen jewels have still not been recovered. The jewels stolen are estimated to be worth $102 million. And now moving on to sports. Starting in hockey, the Canucks goalie Kevin Lankland will not be traveling on their 3-game California road trip. Instead, Jiri Petra and Nikita Tolopilo will be the goaltenders. On Sunday, Lankland allowed 5 goals on 21 shots. The Canucks are determined to bounce back, with currently having the 3rd worst record in NHL this season. And Canadian swimmer Penny Oleksiak has been suspended for 2 years after violating an anti-doping rule. The International Testing Agency said that Oleksiak has accepted the suspension for committing 3 whereabout failures between October 2024 and June 2025. Originally from Toronto, Oleksiak has won 7 Olympic medals and 9 World Championship medals over the course of her career. In soccer, the 2026 World Cup has announced it will adopt a tennis-style seeding system to the 4 highest-ranked teams: Spain, Argentina, France, and England. Those teams will be placed in separate sections. This decision is to ensure competitive balance. FIFA says the top 4 teams can avoid each other until the semifinals of the June 11th to July 19th tournament in the United States. And Cristiano Ronaldo has avoided suspension after receiving a red card for elbowing Ireland's Dara O'Shea. Ronaldo served a mandatory 1-game ban when Portugal won its first qualifying game, sealing its place at the World Cup in North America. Ronaldo was expected to be banned for at least one more game and start his record 6th World Cup on the sidelines. In basketball, Toronto Raptors' Brandon Ingram scored 37 points, beating the Cleveland Cavaliers. This extends Toronto's win streak to 8 games. Ingram spoke after the victory win.
I felt good tonight. I just threw myself out there and just was in the flow of the game. I didn't feel myself getting tired, and I just kept shooting. I kept doing what the defense was giving me, and I felt good.
And in football, Rams quarterback Matthew Stafford has one of the best seasons in NFL history. The 37-year-old quarterback has thrown 27 touchdowns since his most recent interception in Week 3. Stafford is on pace to finish with a 4,374-yard passing and 46 touchdowns, ranking him as one of the greatest players this season. Legendary curler and longtime broadcaster Colleen Jones has died after a battle with cancer. Jones won 6 national women's curling titles and spent almost 4 decades with the CBC. Canadian Press sports reporter Greg Strong has more.
Jones was just 22 when she won her first women's title in 1982. Her second Scotties Tournament of Hearts crown came in 1999, and Jones's team of Kim Kelly, Marianne Arsenault, and Nancy Delahunt followed with 4 straight titles from 2001 through 2004. Jones was inducted into Canada Sports Hall of Fame in 2016. She got into coaching in recent years and was on the bench at the Montana's Brier last March to guide the Nova Scotia team that included her son Luke Saunders at vice skip.
Jones was only 65 years old. And now to weather. Rain this afternoon with temperatures high at 5 degrees. Heavy rain ending overnight with clouds and a 30% chance of drizzle. Tomorrow cloudy with periods of rain. High will be 9. Thursday, similar conditions, and Friday a mix of sun and cloud with a high of 7. The weekend will be wet. Those are your news and sports headlines for 3:30. Thanks for tuning in and staying informed. I'm Emma Bolsner, and you're listening to BCIT's The Crow.
I would recommend this program for anyone that isn't sure what kind of job they want in media, because you learn everything from public relations to communications to video editing, radio, TV. So you do get a lot of experience in all the different fields in media.